This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello and welcome to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. Thank you for joining us and for following Working Like Dogs on Instagram and Facebook. We're your hosts. My name is Marcie Davis, and my co-host is my sweetie pie service dog, Lovey. And we're thrilled to be with you to talk about our favorite subject, working dogs and working animals. And today we're going to be visiting with Jennifer Erdogan and certified bedbug detection dog, Roscoe. And Jennifer serves as the director of the New Jersey-based Canine division of Bell Environmental Services. And she's going to talk with us today about Roscoe's job and what he does to detect bed bugs. So come right back after these quick messages as we welcome Jennifer and Roscoe to the show.
We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Tired of wasting money on giant bags, boxes, and jugs of litter that don't last? Switch to World's Best Cat Litter, the only litter that lets you use less and get more. World's Best Cat Litter uses the concentrated power of corn to deliver outstanding odor control and easy cleanup. It's lightweight, 99% dust-free, and pet, people, and planet-friendly. It's even flushable. Make the switch to World's Best Cat Litter and save $2. Visit www.saveonworldsbest.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. Hello, Jennifer, and welcome. We're so glad you could be with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we've seen Roscoe on television, which got Lovey and I all excited about Roscoe's job. So tell us about Roscoe. Share with our listeners what kind of dog he is and how he came to work for Bell Environmental Services.
Okay, well, Roscoe is a certified bedbug detecting canine, and he came to work at Bell approximately 8 years ago when the bedbug epidemic started taking this country by storm again. Bedbug detecting canines have been used to detect low-level infestations. So many times you may have a few bedbugs. You're getting bit, but you're not able to find them. That's where the dogs come in. We use them to sweep office buildings, medical centers, and homes, and they can literally pinpoint the location of the bugs.
That is so awesome. Well, tell us about your company, Bell Environmental Services. What all do you guys do, and who are your clients? Who do you work with?
Okay. We're a full-service pest control company. We've been in business since 1963, and we service all types of medical facilities, pharmaceutical companies, offices, residences in the New York metro area. And we really try and use low-toxicity tools and methodology to get rid of any infestation, including bed bugs.
Nice. So tell us, when did you guys start using dogs? Have you always used them, or how did that come about?
Yeah, we use them exclusively for bed bugs. So when we started doing our bed bug control treatments a handful of years ago, and we were just like inundated with calls, just, having, our ear out and what was going on in the industry, we started learning about bed bug detecting dogs. So dogs have been used in the industry to detect termites. In the past, they also are often used to detect mold in residences, peanuts, lots of other, things. And they, just like they were trained on termites or mold or peanuts, they were trained on the scent of bed bugs. So what they do, because dogs, especially long-snouted dogs, they smell in parts per trillion, they can literally, they walk into a room and they just zone in on where the organic scent of the bug is coming from.
That is so amazing. Well, was Roscoe the first dog that you guys started using?
Exactly. Roscoe was our first canine. We now have 7 canines and handlers to escort them out into the field, but he was our first. And he was actually one of our supervisors here. First dog that he ever has name was Roscoe, and hence the name. So that's how we named him.
And Roscoe, where did you guys find Roscoe?
Roscoe was a rescue dog. He was found by an academy called the Florida Canine Academy, and that's where we purchased him from and where Roscoe was initially trained. We since have been working with another training facility based in Alabama called FSI Canine, but he initially is a Florida dog.
Wow. Well, I guess after you had Roscoe, you had to have others because he's so adorable. And I'm sure
people love him. He's a bit of a celebrity here in the New York metro area.
I'm sure he's bigger than the New York metro area. He is such a cutie. Yes. Well, and tell us about, so you mentioned about his training, but I mean, you guys have some pretty serious certifications and take this very seriously. Can you tell us a little bit more about the training that your dogs go through and about their certification?
Sure. I mean, bedbug dogs are trained on average, I guess, for about 6 months by the master trainer and by the facility where we purchase them. And then we send our handlers down for another about week and a half to 2 weeks of training, working with the dogs and getting them up to speed. They are certified and accredited from the WDDO, which is World Dog Detector Organization. And they do what's called a double-blind test. It's when neither the proctor in the room nor the handler knows where the bugs are hidden, so that nobody can be giving the dogs any indication of where the bugs are. So they come in and they test, they find where the bugs are, and if they pass, of course, they get accredited. And then additionally, we work with the master trainer twice a year, moving forward from the initial accreditation, and then all the teams are recertified again annually.
Oh, nice. And do the dogs work with just one handler, or do they have multiple handlers?
Yes, the dogs work with one handler. There are a few handlers that have one handler that is working with 2 dogs currently, but each dog only has one handler.
And do they go home with the handlers at night, or how does that work for Roscoe and his friends?
They don't. We actually have a kennel at our facility where they live. They have air conditioning and heat in their dog houses, and then we have an indoor area for them during inclement weather because we are up here in New Jersey. And, on occasion they'll go home with their handler for some, special time, but they're all pack dogs and they're used to spending their time. We have a run for them to go out and kind of run in a wooded area. So it's quite nice for them.
Well, what have you guys seen as the benefits of having canine inspectors versus human inspectors? The benefit?
Yeah, well, we have both. So again, a human can walk into a room, and if there's only 2 or 3 bugs, see, bedbugs are hiding insects, so they like to wedge their bodies into cracks and crevices. So when you're only having 1 or 2, they can go unnoticed from quite some time until the signs start accumulating of an infestation. Signs are, yucky things like fecal spotting that you may see on furnishings, cast skins, because they develop in a process called molting, similar to a snake, where they shed their skins. You'll start seeing those accumulate around as the populations grow. But when in, early stages of an infestation, there's only a few bugs. So an human inspector, we rely exclusively on our eyes. We can inspect a room and still miss something, no matter how thorough we are. If a bug is deep in a headboard or behind an outlet or under a base molding, whereas the dogs are just much more capable of sniffing them out and pinpointing them because they smell them. They don't have to rely on their eyesight to find them. So we do have human inspectors, but when the human inspectors fail and itching is persisting, or if we want to cover a large area, for example, inspect numerous apartments during one day or an entire, floor of a hospital, that's where the dogs come in, because there's no way that humans could cover that ground, with any accuracy.
Yeah. Well, what is their reward when they do detect bed bugs? What do they get?
Yeah. Well, for the dogs, the dogs, to qualify as being a scent dog or a detecting dog, they have to have a certain level of motivation, and that's how they're evaluated by the master trainer that scouts them. You have these highly motivated dogs, and some of them are really food motivated. motivated, while others, we have one dog in particular that is really toy motivated. So really just depends on the individual dog, but they get very excited. They want to please their handler, their dad, as in this case, our handlers happen to be male. And so they're excited for their game. They go and they search out the bugs, and when they find them, they're getting a piece of kibble or a squeaky toy to play with. So, and the kibble is kind of just directed. So they would they're trained to go to source. So they put their nose as close to the scent of the source of the scent of the bedbug as possible. They'll put their nose on it, and then the kibble is kind of just dropped like manna from heaven. So it's not given to them by the handler. And so they've learned from a very young age that, wow, when I find this particular scent and I put my nose right on it, this manna just comes from heaven, and in this way, they don't rely on their handler. They don't know that it's necessarily coming from the handler. It's just an association that they make. And of course, with the one dog that really loves toys, we have a nice little squeaky toy that drops and he can get it. And
oh, that's sweet. It's like the angels are smiling upon them and
exactly.
Well,
exactly.
That's interesting that they don't associate it with their handler. That's really an interesting concept.
Right. Well, that's what you strive for. I mean, on a certain level, maybe they do. I've never been inside their head, but that's what you strive for because you don't want them to be cued or looking at the handler for the reward. That you want them to be operating independently and really confident in what they're doing.
Yeah, that's really cool. Wow. Well, so the other dogs, are they similar to Roscoe, the other 7?
Well, we have Roscoe was our first, and he is a tricolored beagle. We have Simon, who's a mixed breed, a black, medium-sized dog. We have Sparky, which is our Jack Russell Terrier. And then we have 3 other beagles, and they're all girls. And then lastly, our newest addition is Lucy, and she's a beagle mix.
Oh, cool. Cuties. And do you see any difference between the males and females and their ability to detect?
No, not at all. They
Good.
are, they're just both motivated. They're all long-snouted dogs, and, I've come to learn that those are the really good ones for detecting any type of scent dog. Yeah.
That's awesome. They're all professionals. That's wonderful.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Well, we're going to take just a quick break and hear some important messages from our sponsors. But we're going to come right back and continue talking because we have some more questions for you about Roscoe and about all of the wonderful publicity that he's been receiving. So come right back after these quick messages.
We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Ew, get the stinky dog away from me.
Bad breath and bad gas. Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
At least $5,000 in vet bill. Creams, antibiotics, sprays.
No results.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa. The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The shedding is stopped and the itching is stopped.
Her coat is now soft, it's silky,
it's healthy and shiny and glossy.
She's got life, she's got energy.
Tons of energy, no more bad smells.
Dinovite's the bomb.
Dinovite is the best thing that's ever happened to my dogs, besides me, of course.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio, and we're visiting today with Jennifer Erdogan and Roscoe, and Jennifer is with us from Bell Environmental Services and talking about Roscoe and his other friends and the amazing work that they do to detect bed bugs, which is just so amazing. But I know that you mentioned earlier in our time today that Roscoe has had a lot of publicity. And I know that Lovey and I saw Roscoe in the Parade magazine, which is a huge circulation magazine that goes out to so many people in the Sunday newspapers. So tell us a little bit about Roscoe's celebrity.
Okay, well, as we mentioned earlier, he was our first canine. And when we started advertising through commercials, we just, did a quick aside by naming him Roscoe, our bedbug dog. And we featured, a little picture of him inspecting an apartment in the commercial. So it ran all around the New York metro area. And soon as our handlers were out in New York City, we started getting, Roscoe would almost get like these cat calls like, hey, where's Roscoe? Anytime people would see our vehicles, they'd be like, where's Roscoe? And our technicians would shout back, he's working. And soon after that, we were like, well, that would make a really fun commercial because he's becoming quite a bit of a celebrity in New York City. And so, one of our next commercials was, hey, where's Roscoe? Featured people in the city shouting that out, and they'd say he's working. And it's really almost become like a tagline for the company. It's quite funny. Yeah. And everyone gets really excited whenever he's out and about inspecting in the building. Any opportunity people can get to, pet him, and it's really nice. And I think for our handlers that have the privilege of working with the canines every day, it's really therapeutic for them as far as a job goes. They really enjoy their animals. So
yeah. Well, and didn't I see Roscoe on television where he was actually detecting, or was that another one of your other dogs maybe?
It most likely was Roscoe. We've had a few dogs on. We've been on...
It was CBS? Was it the CBS morning
ABC,
show?
Mm-hmm. Right, local TV out here. Yeah, we have... Usually we bring one of the devices we use for training, either the rail or the wheel, and where we have in one container lined up bed bugs, and you spin the wheel or walk the dog up and down the rail, and they literally put their nose exactly in the container where the bed bugs are. Pretty cool.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's so cool. What I saw was really amazing to see them work. They were on a mission and they were so focused. What's the usual working time that you have your dogs out in the field?
It really depends. They usually work about, I would say, 45 minutes at a stretch before having a break, because then they can just get a little distracted or need some water or need a little bit of downtime. So, residential inspections, we may schedule 3 in a day per handling team. Oftentimes we do inspect the larger facilities like office complexes, and in that case we would bring several canine teams to inspect, multi-floors. And again, so we would run them maybe about a half hour to 45 minutes at a stretch, and then give them a break for a bit, and then, bring in another team to pick up where one team left off.
Well, I know bedbug infestations have been in the news so much over the last few years. How do you think the dogs are impacting that? What's their work doing to deal with that issue?
Well, one of the best things about them is that they're a proactive tool for locating low-level infestations. So you can really get on top of an issue before it becomes overwhelming. We do have larger clients that, schedule quarterly or biannual inspections where we'll just come in. We even have like a healthcare facility that brings us in on a weekly basis to one of their critical areas. So we'll sweep the entire unit, and if there are any alerts by the dog, then we'll sit and we'll treat immediately those areas so that they just get it taken care of before an infestation grows.
Yeah, that's so important. That's great. Well, and do you do any preventative work with Roscoe? I've heard that there's an app that might be available.
Yeah, I mean, the app was one of I believe it was a travel app, correct? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I just was hearing that you guys that Roscoe had an app that people could get. Yeah, it's all about Roscoe. Yeah, so.
Exactly. Yeah, it's more of like a novel little game, but I think there were travel tips, associated with that too, so that, people can know where to look and what to be on the lookout for while they're out traveling.
Yeah, well, that's
in
wonderful.
Hotels. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have to say, every time I travel now, I do think about that, especially when I'm in major cities. So what does Roscoe recommend that people do when they're traveling to look for any kind of bed bugs that might be there?
Exactly. I mean, we just have to accept that bed bugs are pervasive and they're just pests that we're going to have to deal with today. But when you're traveling, I mean, sure, when you go into a hotel room, you just do a general inspection of the headboard and maybe bed skirt. The bed skirt is often not changed, with every person that goes in and out. Usually it might even be adhered to the box spring. So that would be one of the places where the bugs could kind of hang out undisturbed, whereas just the regular sheets and blankets are constantly changed. So, look around the headboard, around the bed skirt, base molding. Just look for, any fecal spotting or insects or even signs of a treatment. We recommend keeping your luggage away from the bed. If you can bring a large plastic bag with you, you can encase your suitcase in the plastic bag while you're there just to prevent anything from crawling in. And of course, when you get home, launder your items, inspect your bag. And if you're really worried, call for a canine and inspection of your luggage. I mean, that's something that we do for people when they're traveling as well. They may leave the luggage in their garage or someplace outside of their actual residence, and we can come and sniff it for you and make sure that it's all clear.
Wow, that's great. Those are great tips. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
I will remember those myself. Thank you very much. Well, and public access is a big thing for working dogs, but I'm guessing that Roscoe is he's so focused that he's out in the field actually doing detection. But are there any other times that Roscoe or your other dogs are out in the public?
We've had some times where we've invited people here to the company to go and spend time with Roscoe, meet and greets type thing. But they're mostly, they're working dogs, so they're busy and, they're hanging with their handlers or with each other when they're not working.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't know if Roscoe went to schools or anything like that to do any kind of public appearances.
Not usually, no.
Yeah, he's too busy. He doesn't have time for that.
Right. He's napping when he's not working.
Exactly. He's resting so that he can work. Exactly. That's what Lovey does. Absolutely. So do they mostly work 5 days a week? Is that what you have for the dogs, or just depending on the need?
Yeah, it depends on the need. There are slower times of year and, of course, like the warmer months here, especially peaking in summer, we're busier. We inspect 5 days a week. We inspect day and night. Of course, not every handling team is working around the clock, so that's why we have so many dogs to accommodate, sometimes an erratic schedule. So a law office, for example, will not want us to come in and inspect during the day when people are working, so they might have us come after hours. Same thing if we're inspecting a healthcare facility that's busy prime time, we might have to go at an off hour when, where they see less patients to come in and inspect for them. So yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, and since Roscoe's your first dog and he's 8, do you have any idea of what his working career will look like and about his retirement plans?
Yeah, I mean, we're thinking about moving him to Miami to be a snowbird.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he'll most likely go live with his handler and come here during the days when his handler is working to hang out with his pals. I mean, that's what he knows. We have, like I said, a cushy kennel, and he's one of 6 dogs, so he 9 to 5 would most likely come and hang out and just play in the run and spend some times with his pals that are not on duty.
Nice. That sounds good. I know the true working dogs, it's hard for them to retire, because it's so in their blood, that's their job and they love it. Yeah. Exactly. Like humans, we don't want to retire, right? We still want to be useful and continue working. So
exactly.
Well, if there's one thing that you want our listeners to know about your bedbug detecting dogs, what would that be, Jennifer, that you really want us all to be aware of?
Well, I think they're probably one of the most accurate tools in detecting low-level infestations. They are biological instruments. So, people always ask, how accurate are they? They detect bedbugs over 90% accuracy, and they're really next to actually finding the bugs. They're one of our best tools we have in detecting low-level infestations.
Well, they're definitely the cutest tools that you have as well, which is
Certainly.
so wonderful to see them out in the field. And we just love to see and hear about all the different amazing jobs that dogs have. And thank you for sharing this one with us, because this is pretty cool and really can help a lot with a big issue that we usually don't want to think about bed bugs. So it's really nice to have a really cute solution that can help us deal with that. Well, before you leave us today, tell us how our listeners can get more information about your organization and how they can find out about your services.
Okay, they can find us at our website, www.bell-environmental.com.
Okay, awesome. And we'll put that up on our site along with a picture of adorable Roscoe. So thank you so much for being with us, Jennifer. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing Roscoe on TV and in print, as we know he will continue to get all of the much deserved publicity.
Great. Thanks for having me, Marcie.
Thank you. And thank you, our listeners, for being with us. We love for you to join us, and we love to hear from you. So keep those emails coming. You can email us at Marcie, Marcie, at PetLifeRadio.com. And we also love connecting with you on Instagram and Facebook. So please continue sharing your photos of your working dog and the incredible work that they're doing with you every day. So thanks so much for being with us, and we look forward to being with you again soon. Take good care.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.